Thanks for joining us for KARE 11 News at noon. It's the first day of MEA weekend. That means we can expect more people on the roads and at the airport, so we're keeping our eye on that. Plus, Audrey, you're following new details on a huge court case.
Yeah, Cece, that's right. The trial against Adam Fravel has wrapped its opening statements, and now they're moving into some witness testimony. We're following all of those updates, and I've got the latest coming up in just a bit.
Yeah, I know that's been a big talker for a while now. And John, you're looking at the weather. It's pretty nice out there right now.
It's nice. It's warm. It's windy. We've got to talk about, of course, some elevated fire danger. We've had that the past few days. Today it's going to be its highest for fire danger, so no burning. 62 degrees, dew points very low, but it is a nice day. Winds actually not that strong, but if you look out there, I think they're gusting over 20, 25 still. Temperatures around the metro, 64 in Eden Prairie, 63 in Blaine, 62 in the Twin Cities, 55 degrees still in St. Cloud. Zooming out, most of us are in the 60s, even Brainerd at 59, almost to 60. So we're on our way probably to 70 degrees. You can see the winds are a little bit stronger as you head west. Marshall having a sustained wind at 30. Winds are gusting there at around 40 miles per hour. And again, not going to be the best idea to burn. We'll talk more in detail about that here in a little bit, but it's a very dry, very sunny day, no cloud cover. Enjoy the beautiful weather. Tonight is not going to be as cold as the past few, so we'll talk about even warmer temperatures into the weekend. That's coming up in your full forecast.
That's what we'd like to hear, warmer temps. Thanks, John. Well, we're keeping an eye on the major highways today as MEA weekend gets underway. Students across the state are on a 4-day break, and today is expected to be the busiest travel day for families headed out of town. Michelle Beck was at the airport this morning with a look at what you can expect.
I've seen a lot of kids and students out here this morning. As school is out for the long weekend, airport officials are expecting more than 52,000 travelers here today alone, making today the busiest day this week, and this week the busiest this fall. To help you out, you'll see more staff than usual at check-in and security. And over in Terminal 2, you can now use an express lane for pickup and drop-off by taking the purple ramp. Also, just this season, MSP Reserve has expanded to Terminal 1. That means people who don't have TSA PreCheck can reserve a spot in the security line by going online. So keep those tips in mind, especially because the airport is expected to be busy till Sunday. And another tip here for you, officials say that the north checkpoint is often, not always, but often shorter than the other one at the south end. So another thing to keep in mind. At MSP, Michelle Beck, KARE 11 News.
Thanks to Michelle for that. And if you're hitting the road instead, gas prices are in your favor. Take a look at the latest averages from AAA. Filling up from empty in the Twin Cities will cost you about 50 bucks. Heading up north, Duluth is sitting just under the $3 a gallon mark. And if you're driving to the Dakotas, stopping in St. Cloud, you'll see $3.08 a gallon. Prices dropped about 2 to 6 cents from last week. Now, the state is now laying out its case against Adam Fravel, the man accused of killing his wife, Maddie Kingsbury. The 17-member jury was seated yesterday. And Audrey, I know you've been following this throughout the morning. What can you tell us as opening statements start?
Yeah, Cece, I've been in close contact with our reporter in the courtroom, Kaya Edwards, and she tells me that at this point it is likely that the jury is getting ready to recess for lunch and that they spent the first 2 hours of their morning listening to both sides' opening arguments. Those wrapped about 40 minutes ago, and now the state has called its first witness. Adam Fravel is facing charges for the death of his longtime partner, Maddie Kingsbury. The most serious count he's facing is first-degree murder. That carries a penalty of life in prison if he gets convicted, and the trial is expected to last until November. And to remind you a little bit of the timeline leading up to this point, Kingsbury went missing in March of 2023 in Winona County. Fravel admitted to driving her van, but at the time of the initial search, he said he didn't know where she was. 68 days later, in June, her remains were found. Police discovered them near Fravel's childhood home. Now, as the jurors look towards the latter half of their day today, it is important to remember that this trial was moved to Blue Earth County, away from where the alleged crime took place. I'll have more details on why that happened when I see you in a half hour. But for now, Cece, I'll send things back to you.
Very interesting that I know a lot of people have eyes on this, so thanks for keeping us updated, Audrey. Now to other top headlines this afternoon. There are new details about a school bus crash that sent 9 students to the hospital in Seaforth. That's about an hour west of the Twin Cities. It happened on the way to school yesterday morning. The Redwood County Sheriff's Office says the bus didn't yield at an intersection, hitting a truck. The school district sent a letter to parents saying, thankfully, there were no serious injuries. Now take a look at this dramatic video, though, of a crash and fire near the Lowry Tunnel in Minneapolis. It happened overnight on 94. You can see a car slide into the frame on its side. Several people stopped to help, and 2 minutes later, you can see the car catches fire. Just as police arrive, you see them break out the back window and get the driver to safety. Right now, we have calls into State Patrol to find out what caused the crash and also to get an update about the driver's condition. In other news, if you live in St. Paul, funding for childcare for some low-income families is on the ballot, but Mayor Melvin Carter says no matter which way the vote goes, he won't follow through with the plans. The plan on the ballot is to raise property taxes $110 million over the next 10 years to help pay for childcare. Mayor Carter says the plan would only help about 400 kids a year out of 20,000 low-income kids in the city. He says the vote is about authorizing the city to carry out the plan, not directing it to happen. At least one council member says the mayor's stance is concerning.
I'm telling our community that based on my judgment, it can't be done. So we'll continue to do the work that we've been doing.
I find it very alarming to hear an elected leader in a democracy say that he would not accept the results of an election.
Rebecca Naker, who you just heard from, says despite the mayor's comment, she hopes voters will get the final say. Over in Minneapolis, city council members say they'll override Mayor Jacob Frey's veto on a plan to fine the city's biggest carbon dioxide polluters. The resolution would fine 36 larger companies about $450 per ton of CO2 they produce. The council unanimously passed the measure earlier this month, saying climate change affects local people and requires local responses. Frey vetoed it, saying he supports the idea, but the plan violates state law. Now to the race for the White House. Presidential candidates are trying to make their pitch to undecided voters. Vice President Kamala Harris is in Milwaukee today, starting a list of campaign events in Wisconsin. She also has stops planned in La Crosse and Green Bay. This marks her 6th visit to the battleground state since starting her campaign. Meanwhile, NBC News is reporting former President Trump will be in New York City today, where he'll speak at an annual dinner supporting kids in need. Tomorrow, Trump will be back on the campaign trail with a rally in Detroit. Well, today, President Biden is in Germany meeting with leaders to discuss support for Ukraine. He's scheduled to meet with heads of state for Germany, France, and the UK, creating what's being called the European Quad. Those countries are some of the top arms suppliers for Ukraine. The trip comes after the White House announced another $425 million for a military aid package. Still, the war-torn country is sharing some fears about what will happen to America's support after the election.
We hear the word talks from our allies much more often than the word justice. Ukraine is open to diplomacy, but to the fair one.
Ukraine has a victory plan that revolves around becoming a part of NATO. The alliance has yet to invite the country, though.